Hello and welcome. Our lesson for the day is all about measuring variation. And the good news about today is that the functions that we're going to work on are pretty easy. The concepts are a little bit more interesting. So to make sure this video falls less than 15 minutes, let's just jump right in and talk about our data a little bit. So what you're looking at here is a data set of stock prices. We've got the current price of the stock, how much has changed, the percent change, how many volume shares there are, and its year-to-date change. Now, if you were to think about this from a perspective of a stockbroker or just making business decisions, you might want to evaluate how your portfolio is doing. So how are my stocks doing? Are some doing well? Are some not doing well? Are there some that are better than others? And the variance within this is what we're going to measure today using a couple easy functions that fall back into our background of statistics. So the first one is the easiest one to do, which is simply rank. And the reason that we like rank is because as students or people that have been students in the past, you understand how ranks work, right? So ranks are very much ordinal in nature, right? So think of it like this. If you run a race, you have a first, second, and third place winner. And the distance between first and second doesn't really matter. It just matters that you are first. So if you're running a race and you win by 30 seconds, or if you're running a race and you win by 0.3 seconds, it doesn't matter as long as you were first, second, or third, right? So the order matters, but the distance between the order doesn't. And that's what the rank function does for you. Now, when you jump in and do this, the functions are not that hard, but what can confuse you is there's actually a couple versions of the rank function, and you'll see that we have a tie up here, and I'll show you how those functions work differently. So you'll see there's a RANK.AVG and a RANK.EQ. Then you've got this other one called rank. That's what we don't want you to use. And of course, you would think that's the one I want to use, right? Because I want to use rank. Well, you'll see that there's a little hazard sign next to this. That means this is a legacy function. It's been deprecated. So Microsoft doesn't want you to use that function anymore. They want you to use these two new ones, but they've left it in because that's the original function. And if you took it away and you had older Excel worksheets, those worksheets would stop working if this function just went away. So they've left it, but it said, hey, don't use this one. This is a legacy function, right? It's been left from 2007. What we want you to do is use these two, RANK.EQ and RANK.AVG. So let's start with RANK.EQ and let's see what that does. So with RANK.EQ, if I select the number that I want to evaluate, which is this, okay, and then from there, I select the order or the data that I want to compare it to, which is this. Here's what you're going to see once I hit OK. Now, I'm not going to hit enter yet because I want you to look at this. I have sorted this data set already based on price in descending order. So there's the largest number going down to the smallest. So this is the rank, sort of. But you don't know what it is. You just know this is the biggest number, that's the smallest number. So when I go through and I run this, it tells me right off the bat that IBM is rank number 1. Now, what I want to do is fill this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these B4 through B33. I'm going to hit F4. And now I can fill this down. Double click. There we go. So now one thing I left off that I want to point out is there's an optional argument here called order. And I can do descending order or ascending order. So if I switch these to ascending order, 30 would be the biggest number and the smallest number would be 1. I don't want to do that here because obviously the more money, the better. So I'll leave that in there, you see. So now if you use your eyes, the first thing you'll see that's going to confuse you is that you have two number ones. See it? Number one, and then it goes to number 3. That's because the price of Chevron and the price of IBM are exactly the same. And I did that on purpose so you could see what the RANK.EQ function does. If you have a tie, it's going to take away the next number, and then it's going to give them both that same number, right? So you've got number 1, and then you've got number 3. If I were to change this to something else like 194 without the 20, now you have a number 2. Okay, now you have a number 2. So let's see what the difference is between RANK.EQ and RANK.AVG, right? So you see that with RANK.EQ, if you have a tie, it says 1 and 1. So let's put that 20 back. And if I were to switch this from RANK.EQ to RANK.AVG, what it's going to do is it's now going to do 1.5. So it's going to split the difference basically. And if I were to add another one, it would go up to 2 and then 2.5 and so on. So RANK.AVG is going to give you a decimal point in between saying like, hey, this is a tie. So this is 1.5, 1.5. There really is no winner. And you can do that for all of them across the board versus just a simple tie of 1, 1, 1. So that's what RANK.AVG and RANK.EQ do. So percent rank, what is percent rank going to do for you? Now, notice there's a couple flavors of percent rank as well. So there's the one that we don't want you to use. See that one? Don't use that one. That's the deprecated one. You'll see inclusive and exclusive. We're going to use inclusive. Don't worry about what it means yet. I'll explain it when we get over to quartile and percentile. So let's do percentile inclusive. Now notice this one's a little different. In this particular example, when we do percentile inclusive, what we're going to do is it's going to say, oh, excuse me, we don't want percentile inclusive. We want percent rank. In my mind, I clicked it and then I said percentile. We want percent rank. So we're going to do percent rank exclusive, or excuse me, inclusive. So here, this is what we want. Okay. So in this example, it's going to say, show me the data that I'm comparing. So we're going to grab all of this data and we're going to want to fill this down. So we're going to hit absolute here. Okay. Then it's going to say, hey, what is the specific number that I'm looking at first? So we're going to click this one like so. Now we can set our level of significance. For now, let's just leave it as default, but let's talk about what percent rank is going to do for you. So if I hit it, it tells me 97%. Okay. So exactly what is that? And why is it 97 here? So what if I change this to 186? Notice that now changed from there's the 100%, there's 97. Well, it changed. It was 100 and 100 original, or excuse me, 97 and 97 originally, because these two numbers were tied. Now let's look and see what percent rank does for us. So what percent rank is going to do is it's going to tell you the percentage rank against the entire data set. So out of 100% of your data, this is where you fit from a percentage perspective. That's what that's telling you. Okay, so right up at the top, our biggest number is 100%. Right at the bottom, our lowest number is 0%. And you'll see that these will correlate with the 0 quartile in 4th quartile and the 0 or the lowest percentile in the 100th percentile, which is our natural transition into the next two functions, quartile and percentile. So quartile and percentile are actually pretty similar. They're methods of separating your data into parts. Okay. And most of the time when you work with quartiles, you'll work with quartiles 0 through 4, 0 being the lowest low number. And then you'll break it into just 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Percentile, you guys are probably more used to hearing because you'll hear in college, they'll say, you know, when you take a standardized test, I was in the 25th percentile, or I was in the 50th percentile or the 100th percentile, right? You hear people say that quite a bit. So in general, in everyday speak, we're more comfortable talking about percentiles versus quartiles. But what you'll see in a second is they're actually pretty darn similar. So let's talk about quartile inclusive and exclusive and percentile inclusive and exclusive. So I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to start using quartile. And I'll show you the difference between inclusive and exclusive in just a second. So we'll use quartile inclusive. Now notice that this time it's going to say, hey, show me the data that you want me to compare. So I'm going to grab all this data. Then it's going to ask me, hey, what quartile do you want? And you've got 4 options, 0 through 4. Those are your choices, 0 through 4. Okay. Now, instead of me selecting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, I'm going to reference it here. And when I do that, it's going to give me our lowest low number, which is 868. That's our lowest low number. Now I want to fill this down, so I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to make this absolute. Come on. I got a button smushed on my keyboard somewhere. F4. There we go. We got it. Something was mashed on my keyboard. So we're going to fill this down and it's going to tell me my quartiles. Okay. 0 through 4. Now let me jump down to percentile and we'll do that as well. And at its base level, what you'll see is percentile. It's going to tell you the same thing, just in a different number or in a different way. So it'll say based on percentage versus quartile, which we seem to be more comfortable with working with percentages versus quartiles. So let me show you. So if I use the percentile function, notice there's also 2 of them, percentile inclusive versus exclusive. So I'm going to go ahead and choose inclusive and it's going to say, all right, well, where's my data that I'm evaluating? It's still my stock prices. And it's going to say, all right, well, what percentile am I looking at? Notice this time, it doesn't give me the option of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like quartile does, because that's what it wants you to do. This time I can specify whatever I want So I don't have to say just 25th, 50th, or 100th. I could say I want the 22nd percentile, or the 10th percentile, or the 33rd percentile. I can specify whatever I want versus quartile saying give me 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 equal parts. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to reference 0, and you know what that's going to do? It's going to give you the same thing up here. So I want to fill this down. So I'll make that absolute, and I'm going to fill this off. And there you go. You got 868. These are exactly the same. Okay. So these are the equal parts. So if you were to add a new data point in here, I'm going to say, well, just hypothetically, I've got 64. It's going to fall in between these two percentiles, right? So if you were to take a new test and you wanted to compare yourself against an existing set of data, you would see that, hey, I fall within this percentile based on the existing data over here, or this quartile based on the existing data over here. Hopefully that makes sense. So what do we think that's interesting? So if I change this to 33, see how that worked? Quartile doesn't want you to do that. They want you to do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now what's the difference between exclusive and exclusive? It's not that big a deal. It's pretty easy. And the difference is the high and the low. So the min and the max are left off if you use exclusive versus exclusive. So if I go up and do quartile exclusive, I select my entire data set. Notice now I only have 3 options, 1, 2, 3. I don't have 0 and 4. That's the difference between quartile, exclusive, and inclusive. And that's the difference between all of them, exclusive and inclusive. So if you use the exclusive function, the top and the bottom ends of your data set, right? So the ends are going to get cut off. So you'll get 1, 2, 3. You don't have a 0 quartile or a 4th quartile. So I reference here and I get those same. Not quite the same because we've left off the top and the bottom. So now it's just doing the 3. And if I jump over to percentile, exclusive, I can do much the same thing. So I can leave off the tops and bottoms. So now let me show you. So if I go up here and I select my entire array, and this time I do 0, it yelled at me, didn't it? Didn't like that because it wants to leave off the tops and bottoms. Now, if I fill this down, so we'll do F4 right here. If I fill this down, it was okay with 20th, okay with 50th. Nope, we don't like 100, right? So basically exclusive just cuts off the tops and bottoms, okay? Cuts off the tops and bottoms. So that's kind of where we're at. That's what we're doing with rank, percentile, and quartiles. They're pretty easy to interpret, just help you understand your data a little bit. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, quick and easy. We'll come back and we'll do it again soon.